Hi, Shannon here, and today I want to talk for a moment about Zillow. So I've joked for years that we have a love-hate relationship with Zillow. Our team does advertise on Zillow, so fair disclosure. We are what Zillow calls premier agents, which means we pay them money to advertise. We are also what they designate best of Zillow. So when they do surveys, we rank very high because people, I guess, say that we call them back and we answer their questions. Zillow is one of the most popular real estate websites out there. Lots of people like to use it for searching. And Zillow does a great job with building their site so that people can use it to search. For years and years, Zillow has said that they are in the business of supporting and informing consumers and also supporting real estate agents. That's why so many of us have paid them over the years to be a part of that platform. But recently, Zillow changed what they do a bit. And they got into the business of helping consumers directly with buying and selling property. So Zillow is now a member of our local real estate board, and they can actually act as the agent for a buyer and the agent for a seller. And I think it's very important for consumers and real estate agents to be aware that Zillow does not yet have the experience that a lot of local real estate agents do. So how does that play out? This past week, I talked to a homeowner who's interested in selling his home, and he had actually talked to Zillow about assisting him with that. And Zillow told him they were not able to do so. They weren't able to help him sell his house because it has a feature that they felt made it basically unsellable. In reality, it's actually a feature that adds to the desirability and the value. But because Zillow isn't as aware of the local market, they gave him advice that had him questioning whether he could move forward. Fortunately, he reached out to an experienced local agent and will be able to help him. For buyers, what you need to know if you are going to be purchasing a home that Zillow owns, they are not using the standard CAR, California Association of Realtor, forms. They're coming to the table with their own forms. And a lot of the protections that are in the standard contracts for buyers are not in the Zillow forms. So, for example, one of the things that's standard in our contract is contingencies or conditions for the buyer. So the buyer has an opportunity to do their due diligence and then say, yes, I'm signing off on this contingency or condition, and I now wish to move forward. And if the buyer doesn't sign off on that, then they still have that protection in place until they sign off on that. With the Zillow form, if that deadline comes and goes, that protection is no longer in place. And so it's really important that you know that. The other thing that's different with the Zillow contracts is that the seller has the right to default on the contract. So in the standard contract, basically the buyer has a gazillion outs, but the only way the seller gets to cancel the contract is if the buyer doesn't perform and then the seller issues a notice to buyer to perform and the buyer still doesn't perform. In that case, the seller could unilaterally cancel the contract. That's the standard form. The Zillow form that we've seen them using actually provides the seller the right to default. for no reason. So let's say you're a buyer, you make an offer on a Zillow owned or Zillow represented property, you're moving along and they suddenly say, oh yeah, no, we got a higher offer. We're going to go with them. Bye-bye. It's not in your favor. The other thing that's different with the Zillow form is what happens if as a buyer, you're unable to close escrow on time. Let's say there's a delay with the loan documents. It happens sometimes. In the standard California Association of Realtors document, the seller issues what's called a demand to close escrow. If the buyer can't perform, the seller then has the right to cancel. With a Zillow form, if you pass that deadline, the seller can just cancel. So you want to be aware that when Zillow's playing by their own rules, are you okay with the rules? Be very aware of the forms and the way things are playing out. If you have any questions, please let us know. Thanks for watching.